everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. I am Carrie Lazat, your Director of Cable and Community Relations here in Bloomfield Township, and my show is about talking to people that make Bloomfield Township a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And today I have with me our clerk, Martin Brook. Welcome, Martin.
Good morning, Carrie.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Yes, of course, of course. You know, I feel like we just had an election. We just had a presidential election, and here we are again, 4 years later. It's gone really quickly, I think, these last 4 years.
Gosh, it seems not so much to me.
Yes.
We have to run each election, so
it's a lot of work.
It's like running a marathon.
Mm-hmm. So, how much does your team grow during the? I mean, because you actually have to hire other people to come and help.
We do. My staff, including myself, is 5 people normally. Mm-hmm. And when there's an election, we bring in temporary staff for the month to 6 weeks beforehand, which varies from 12 to 15 people. Mm-hmm. And then election day, we have about 225 additional workers that are in the precincts and absentee voting counting board and other places.
And election day is like the marathon that you're training for because it's a really long day, right?
Yeah, it sure is. So it's like running a marathon and then running a sprint. So election day, the precincts open at 7 a.m., but we're in my office by 4:30 in the morning, and we usually finish around 3 a.m.
Wow. So almost 24 hours of
almost
working.
24 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and where do these people come from that they aren't volunteering? They do get paid.
They do. They are election workers. Mm-hmm. They are employees. They're paid. And they are community members. The elections are run in Michigan by each community. Individuals who are interested in working elections sign up, and as long as they qualify, we do have strict rules as far as who can be an election worker. For instance, you cannot have a felony. You must have experience.
That's interesting.
Right? I mean, so we do a background check and check each person. And we look at the background as far as their experience. And we also require by law that they identify whether they're a Democrat or Republican because each major event that happens in a precinct is done by witnessed by a person of each major party. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So how do people become an election worker? They just go to our website, to the bloomfieldtwp.org/jobs, right? And the application is there.
For election worker, it's in my office.
Okay.
So they would contact the clerk's office.
Okay.
It could be clerk at the email, clerk@bloomfieldtwp.org.
Okay.
Or call us, and we can get them the application.
All right. Well, great. And so when do you start looking for those people?
Well, we're full for the August election. We've
good.
signed everybody, recruited everybody. There's, as I said, about 225 people already signed up to work. We'll start working on the August election, right after, the November election, right after the August election. But if people are interested in working in November, and we will need people, they can contact my office anytime. Use that email, clerk@bloomfieldtwp.org.
So do you have to be a resident to work in your community? Or you could, like, if you're full up and people want to go work in Birmingham or Southfield or somewhere else, they're able to go apply?
They are. You just have to be a registered voter in Michigan.
Okay.
So we do that. So we had some extras for the presidential primary, and they worked in Birmingham because they had some needs. And so that we're working together regionally and throughout the county and the state as far as clerks go. And it's really a wonderful thing because they're all different parties.
But your team is going to be the most fun.
Well, right?
I think
good.
so.
It's good and fun.
So. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you're doing more than a civic duty. So helping
it's a pleasure
people
to do it. I really enjoy being clerk.
Oh, good. I know we like working with you, and we've been working with the clerk's office and developing communication materials. And this is something that you should be seeing in your mailbox that is coming soon, mailed on July 15th. So if you're watching this video after that, you probably got it in the mail. And this is about the elections. This is how it's going to look. And it's a little bit of a checklist. And what I like about it myself is that the font is big enough so that if you have trouble reading things that are small, you need your readers, that you can actually look at all this without putting on your readers. So,
right.
So what is some of the information? What are some of the highlights here? First of all, it's early voting for the primary starts on July 27th. So that's in person that you can go do that on July 27th. And where can you do that in person?
It is at the Bloomfield Township Library.
Okay, so great partnership with the library.
They're fabulous. Any precinct, anyone in Bloomfield Township can go there and vote, and anybody in Birmingham also anyone in Southfield Township. So the library is hosting in
Oh,
one
I
location
didn't know that. Okay.
all three jurisdictions.
And is that new, or has that been like that for a long time?
Well, early voting started we were one of the first places that did a trial run of early voting because we had a November election in 2023. Since that time, it's a jointly hosted site, and that saves all of our residents money by collaborating, and the places that can actually hold these locations are far and few between. So the library has been a great partner. Right.
So that's in person if you want to do that. And then also people have the option to absentee vote. And so they got ballots in the mail. Those were, they should already have them. And if it went out and they recycled it, how did they get a new ballot?
Well, it went out on 6/25. So everybody should have their ballot already in Bloomfield Township. And if they don't have their ballot, contact my office.
Okay.
The email I gave before, clerk@bloomfieldtwp.org, or call us, 248-433-7702. And we can track that ballot for you. If it has been lost or thrown out, or you just need a new one, we can reissue another one.
And then
you can also pick it up in my office.
You can pick up your ballot in the office.
You can come in and do it that way in person.
And so once you have the ballot, where are the places that you can deliver it to so that it gets counted?
So that's another area of change I want to highlight. People can now take that absentee ballot they've received in the mail and vote it in person during early voting or in the precinct. So previously, the only way to have that ballot counted was return it to the clerk's office. That option is still available, of course. You can return it to the clerk's office. But if you'd prefer to take your absentee ballot, study it, and vote it during early voting, you can do that. Or on election day, you can do that as well. And that's pretty exciting for me because folks can take the ballot, study at home, and also have the benefit of putting through the tabulator themselves. The traditional method is return it to my office, and that can be through the U.S. mail, through the drop boxes in the township, or at the counter in my office.
And how many drop boxes do we have now?
Well, we have 3 outdoor drop boxes.
Cool.
So one is on Westview Road. One is at Village Hall in the township village area. And the other one is outside the main township hall building here at Telegraph and Exeter.
Okay. All right. Well, great. So there's no reason why people shouldn't be voting.
We check those every day, every work day. And on election day, it's another sort of thing we have to staff for is we have to have someone at each box at 8 o'clock because whatever is in there at 8 o'clock is countable. What arrives at 8:01 is not.
And they're also monitored by security cameras. Yes,
each of them is on a security camera.
And was there a grant that you received? There was some state funding.
Well, pursuant to the Michigan Constitution, the state is to provide one ballot box for each 14,000 voters, I believe it is. So the state did provide us those. One of the additional boxes was installed in 2022 because of a statewide security grant. So each jurisdiction could use it differently, and we chose to use it on our first drop box.
Okay. What are some other highlights? What else is new this year?
Well, the early voting is a really big one. I want to highlight that again because starting the Saturday, July 27th, 8:30 in the morning, folks can go to the Township Library and vote in person. That ends Sunday, August 4th. So Monday, you cannot early vote. You've got to go through.
Okay. So after Monday, you have to go to your own precinct.
You have after Sunday.
After Sunday.
The only option is to return your absentee ballot through one of the methods mentioned earlier, or to vote on election day.
Okay. And election day is?
August 6th.
August 6th.
Tuesday,
August 6th. Okay. And that's for the primary, and then the general election will be, there's all new dates, but those are also included.
Yes.
Right up here at the top. So if you forget anything, they're all highlighted for you in this nice mailer. So.
Right.
Cool. Nice.
Right. So this was information that we need to get out there because not only is there early voting, there's the drop boxes, there's a lot of different new things. Another thing to mention is that there is also now the permanent mail ballot list. So individuals can apply once and receive a ballot always, or at least as long as they continue to qualify. And our office mails those out to each of the registered voters that are on the permanent mail ballot list. That list right now is a little over 13,000 people. Almost 35% of our registered voters are on that list.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about like the straight party ticket voting? And if you want to vote for all Republican or all Democrat or all, I don't know if there's all Green Party, and maybe there's one or candidate that you want from something else. Are you allowed you're allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. I'll make that a statement. You are allowed to do that if you can explain how that works.
Well, let me explain. The August ballot is a primary. So we're not electing anybody at that point. We're electing who will be on the November general ballot.
Right.
You have to, when filling out the primary ballot by state law, something just defined by state laws. Other states are different. But for the August primary, you have to vote within one party or another. You cannot vote in one race in the Democratic column and another race in the Republican column.
Okay, so you do have to vote straight ticket in the primary only.
In the primary only, straight ticket. If you fill out your ballot and you've crossed that line, say you voted for Senate on the Republican side and township trustee on the Democratic side, that ballot will not be counted in the partisan section. None of the partisan votes would be counted.
Okay.
So
So if you want to make your decision, if you want to have it count, you need to make sure you
stay
vote.
in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Okay. All right.
If you are in a precinct and you run it through the tabulator, it will tell you if you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
And push it back out to you and say, do you want to vote it as is? You've crossed party lines.
Yeah. Well, and
crossing party lines doesn't just eliminate your vote in that race. It's all the partisan races would be disqualified. You wouldn't be counted.
Yeah.
The nonpartisan part of the ballot would be counted.
Right. And I think it's an important distinction because I think, when they do polling, they look at and see that most Americans are somewhere in the middle. And so there's times when you might want to be on one side and other times you might want to be on the other. And so it's really important to understand that.
This is a super common mistake.
It is. Yeah.
People are crossing party lines in August.
Okay. But then in November, you can do it in November. You
just
can
to keep you on your toes.
Okay. Right. So that's good.
In November, you have multiple selections, multiple options. And we can cover that now, but, or maybe leave it for later.
So in November, you can. And so maybe we just want to touch on it so that if people are only watching this.
Sure. So in November, you have, again, in August, it's party must stay in your lane, one party or the other for every race.
Right.
In November, you can really pick and choose. So you can do a straight ticket option, which is at the top of the ballot, and then every race of a partisan nature would be covered by your straight ticket choice. You can split the ticket, which means you can choose straight party, and then in a certain race choose a person of a different party.
Okay.
That's not an overvote. You haven't voted twice.
Yeah.
The individual race, the selection of the individual race will override for that race the straight ticket option. So that's called a split ticket. The mixed ticket is you don't pick at all the straight party box and vote each race. And again,
and especially if you take it home, that's easy to do. So.
Oh, it is. And that's one of the big advantages. Take it home, study it, fill it out at your leisure, bring it in filled out, and then run it through the tabulator. So
if people come and they're in, doing early voting or they're at the regular precinct, are they allowed to ask questions? I guess I feel like sometimes you don't want to show what you're voting, but maybe you think that you spoiled your ballot. So are the election workers, are they allowed to answer questions, or they generally don't want to do that?
Well, there's a lot of rules about it. They do provide instruction about how to fill out the ballot, and that the instruction is just basically what I said. They'll mention straight ticket, split ticket, mixed ticket. Questions are not usually handled. The instructions are consistent, so that everybody gets the same instructions. But that does confuse folks. So that's where the tabulator comes in. If they've done it wrong, the tabulator will tell them.
Right.
So don't worry. If you've overvoted in a race, it's going to tell you.
Well,
if you've somehow in August you've done a split ticket, it'll tell you, and you have the option to take your ballot back and get a new one.
Okay. I know we're trying to make it more, we're trying to simplify it, but it's sounding a little complicated, but it shouldn't be. And I have a new voter in my house. My daughter turns 18 on July 10th. So we're very excited. I know she's really excited about voting. And also I should mention that at our open house, you have practice voting. Like, don't you have
Yes.
ballots? And so the practice voting that will happen at our open house, is that with the ballot that will be seen? No, it's a fake. Oh, you vote for fake
just
things,
like,
right?
Pick your favorite food. What's your favorite, fast food hamburger,
Right.
Things like that. It's aimed at young kids.
But it gives you a chance to see it, right? See how it works.
Yes,
little bit.
the ballot will look the same, but
Yeah.
have different topics on it.
Didn't we vote for something? Didn't they vote for something last year?
They voted
What was
for
it?
Departments. Which department?
Which department was the best or the
Which
most
was their
fun?
favorite?
The favorite?
Yes, their favorite.
I think I need to work on our campaigning for that. I'm sure that we didn't win. I think it was probably police. Police or fire. They always win.
It was police this time.
It was police. I don't know how that's possible because fire burned something down and did like a huge.
Right?
Yes, it was super cool.
Go bigger. But right, because it was police on that ballot, and we do this passport game too. So if they fill out the passport, the Bloomfield Township passport book, and get a stamp from each of the departments, then they are entered into a drawing of several exciting items that we don't know what they are yet for this year, but it was a big hit last year.
Yes, and we're going to see you. We're going to see you again before the November election. So, is there anything else that people should know for the primary?
Well, for all elections, I want to highlight the Michigan Voter Information Center, or MVIC. Individuals can find the plethora of information, general information about voting, and then also specific information about themselves. So if they want to apply for an absentee ballot, they can do it at MVIC. If they want to find out if their absentee ballot has been received by the clerk's office, they can find that out at MVIC. If they want to know the exact address of the drop boxes, they can find that out at MVIC, Michigan Voter Information Center. Its website is MVIC, Michigan Voter Information Center .SOS, Secretary of State, .mi.us.
Well, we'll find that and we'll put that up on the screen too.
It's really handy information. So each clerk inputs the information and it's housed all right there. So you can learn about the hours of our office, extra hours that we're open. We're always open extra hours around elections, Fridays and Saturdays, when our normal hours here in the township are Monday through Thursday. And you can find out contact information and again, specific ballot information that you have about your own ballot.
Right. And we are a resource for the community. So if people want to call us, they should be able to call us and stop in. And if we don't know the answers, then we can find out how to answer their question. Because 100%. I think, sometimes I know that at the state level, they changed their website. And I know when I was doing some election work years ago, I was, you'd go in there to reference things and then from day to day, they could be changing and updating. So your local clerk is the best. You're the best,
absolutely.
Martin.
We want them to call the local clerks.
Yes.
And that is how, where the information originates. Even the information in MVIC comes from the local clerk. So, we're there to serve. It's a customer service business. Call us, email us, text us. We'll provide the information and help guide you through this. Our goal is that every person who can be legally is registered, and everybody who's registered votes. Bloomfield Township, by the way, is known throughout the state as one of the places with the highest voter turnout. And we do this every year in and year out, which is a real credit to the residents of the township to be that engaged and to vote that frequently.
Absolutely. And you yourself, you don't have a primary this year, so you're running unopposed. So we'll see you through this election and then 4 years going forward. So that's kind of a relief. You can just concentrate on the job and not think about running for office. So that's cool. Yep. It'll be great to have you.
The campaigns are something that each of the clerk's offices are working on all year long. It's not just an election day kind of thing, early voting kind of thing. It's an all hands on deck yearly process. With all these changes, it's been a real challenge for clerks throughout the state. And
but we've met them.
One thing I want to mention too, by the way, is an individual came in my office this morning. He received a mailer from, looked like someone in Washington, D.C. With information about applying for an absentee ballot and so forth. And he was very concerned about voter fraud because as we had advised him, he we already sent him an absentee ballot. He's already returned his absentee ballot.
Right.
So that's something that people should be aware of is individual organizations or candidates or parties or interest groups can send as many different mailers as they want.
They're going to get a lot of mail.
Official information.
A lot of mail. And they make it look official, I think,
do.
sometimes to try and confuse you or trick you into doing, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but there's just a lot of
Right.
a lot of that out there.
Look for information from your clerk's office and look for this logo on mailers, which tells you this official election information. We're here to help and clear up any questions. Just call us.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's all we have to say today. And so we'll be back after the primary and with information about the general election that will happen. But thank you for watching today. If you have any questions, just get in touch with us through the website. We have a new township app that you can download. And always we're happy to see you face to face if you want to stop into Township Hall. So thanks so much. Thanks for being here,
Thanks,
Martin.
Carrie.
It's good talking with you. And
Nice to share a coffee with you.
Yes, thanks so much.